बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवर धारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवर धारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय यशोदानंदना जय व्रज जनरंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय व्रज जनरंजना जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तिरवन प्यारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तिरवन प्यारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जगन्नाथ बलदेव माए की जय, नरसिंह भगवान की जय, पंचतत्व की जय, शुड गोस्वामी की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Lord. So, the form translate. Om Namo Bhagavate. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance to the personality of God Narayana, unto Nana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki. By regular attendance in classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of God, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Mataji, welcome all of you for this Srimad Bhagavatam session. Thank you very much for keeping the appointment, Krishna. So today we'll be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 11th chapter, verse number 12. So first let us recite the verse. Satvam Hareranudhyatas Tatpumsamapi Sammataha Katam Tvavadyam Kritavan Anushikshan Satamvritam. Satvam Harer Anudhyatas Tatpumsamapi Sammataha Katam Tvavadyam Kritavan Anushikshan Satamvratam. Satvam Harer Anudhyatas Tatpumsamapi Sammataha Katam Tvavadyam Kritavan Satam Anushikshan Satamvratam. So anybody wants to recite one Prabhuji from Mata, you can recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Sattvam Harir Anudhyatas Tat Pumsamapi Sammataha Katham Tvavadyam Krutavan Anushikshan Satam Vratam. Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, may I recite Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
Satvam hareranudhyaya tastapumsamapi sammataha katham tvavatyam kritavan anushikshan satamritam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. We'll go to this word meaning. Saha, that person. Tvam, you. Hare He, by the Supreme Lord. Anudhyataha, being always remembered. Tat, his. Pumsam, by the devotees. Api, also. Sammataha, esteemed. Katham, why. Tu, then. Avadyam, abominable act. Kritavan, you have undertaken. Anushikshan, setting the example. Satam, of saintly persons. Vratam, a vow. Translation and purport by Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. Because you are a pure devotee of the Lord is always thinking of you. And you are also recognized by all his confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. I am therefore surprised. Why have you undertaken such an abominable task? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dhruva Maharaj was a pure devotee and was accustomed to always thinking of the Lord. Reciprocally, the Lord always thinks of those pure devotees who think of him only 24 hours a day. As a pure devotee does not know anything beyond the Lord, so the Lord does not know anything beyond his pure devotee. Swayambhuva Manu pointed out this fact to Dhruva Maharaj. Not only are you a pure devotee, but you are recognized by all pure devotees of the Lord. You should always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. Under the circumstances, it is surprising that you have killed so many faultless yakshas. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyantimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूपगदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदातिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथामितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखातांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं गुं करोति वाचालं गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठावतारे श्रीमते महाविष्णुस्वामिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठावतारे भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने निर्विशेषशून्य पाश्चात्यस्थाने जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर हरे कृष्ण So Hare Krishna, Guru Mata, yes, thank you very much for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna today. So today is the 5th of March 2025. So we'll be discussing this verse, 4th canto, 11th chapter, verse 12 today. See, in this chapter is entitled Swayambhava advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. The previous chapter was Dhruva Maharaj's fight with the Yakshas, right? See, from verse number 6 in the chapter, Swayambhava is advising Dhruva Maharaj. See, in the 6th verse, he says, see, when Swayambhava saw that his grandson Dhruva Maharaj was killing so many of the Yakshas, who were not actually offenders. So out of his great compassion, he approached Dhruva Maharaj to give him good instruction. And in the 7th year, now Lord Manu is telling, my dear son, please stop. It is not good to become unnecessarily angry. It's unnecessarily angry. It is a path to hellish life. Now you are going beyond the limit by killing Yakshas who are actually not offenders. In the 8th verse, he says, my dear son, the killing of the sinless Yakshas which you have undertaken is not at all approved by authorities. And it does not befit our family, which is supposed to know the laws of religion and irreligion. And in the 9th, he says, my dear son, it has been proved that you are very much affectionate towards your brother and are greatly aggrieved at his being killed by the Yakshas. But just consider, for one Yaksha's offense, you have killed many others who are innocent. So the point, see, in the 10th verse, it says, one should not accept the body as the self, and thus, like the animals, kill the bodies of others. This is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the verse, purport of 10 and 11, it's very nice purport. I'll just read, please hear carefully. The words, sadhunam rishikeshano vartinam, are very significant. Sadhu means a saintly person. But who is a saintly person? A saintly person is he who follows the path of rendering service unto the Supreme Personality of God, Rishikesha. So in the Naranda Pancharatra, it is said, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That is, the process of rendering favorable service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with one's senses is called bhakti or devotional service, favorable service. Therefore, why should a person who is already engaged in the service of the Lord engage himself in personal sense gratification? So Prabhupada said, Dhruva Maharaj's advice here by Lord Manu, that since he is a pure devotee of the Lord, why should he unnecessarily engage like the animals in the bodily concept of life. So animal thinks that the body of another animal is his food. Therefore, in the bodily concept of life, one animal attacks another. A human being, especially one who is a devotee of the Lord, should not act like this. The sadhu, a saintly devotee, is not supposed to kill animals unnecessarily. And in the 11th translation, it says it is very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hari in the Vaikuntha planets. But you are so far. See, Swayambhu was telling Dhruva Maharaj, it is very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hari in the Vaikuntha planets. But you are so fortunate that you are already destined to go to that abode by worshipping him as the supreme abode of all living entities. And the purport, Prabhupada says, the material bodies of all living entities cannot exist unless sheltered by the spirit soul and the super soul. Because the spirit soul and the spirit soul, a supreme super soul in the body, then the material bodies can exist. So the spirit soul is dependent on the super soul, who is present even within the atom. Therefore, Prabhupada says, since anything material or spiritual is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord is referred to here as Bhutavasa. Now, Dhruva Maharaj, as a Kshatriya, could have argued with his grandfather Manu when Manu was requesting him to stop fighting. Right? But he did not do so. Even though Dhruva could have argued that as a Kshatriya, it was his duty to fight with the enemy, he was informed that since every living entity is the residence of the Supreme Lord and can be considered a temple of the Lord, unnecessary killing of any living entity is not permitted. So now, that's why now in this 12th verse which we are going to discuss today, it says, because you are a pure devotee of the Lord is always thinking of you. And you're also recognized by all his confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior, and therefore surprised why have you undertaken such an abominable task of killing all the Yakshas, although only one of them was the offender. So see, Dhruva Maharaj was a pure devotee, right? So Prabhupada in the 4:11 this current verse, which we are discussing now, he says Dhruva Maharaj was a pure devotee and was accustomed to always thinking of the Lord. So who is a pure devotee? Who always thinks of the Lord. So Dhruva was a pure devotee and he was accustomed to always thinking of the Lord. If that is so, what happens? What is the reciprocation of Krishna? Reciprocally, the Lord always thinks of those pure devotees who think of him only 24 hours a day. So wonderful, right? So how Krishna becomes attracted by the devotional service of his devotees is described by Narada in Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, 10th chapter, 37th verse. There, Narada Muni addresses King Yudhishthira. While the king is appreciating the glories of the character of Prahlad Maharaj. See, a devotee always appreciates the activities of other devotees. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was appreciating the qualities of Prahlad. And that is one symptom of a pure devotee. A pure devotee never thinks himself as great. Okay. He always thinks that other devotees are greater than himself. Now, the king was thinking, Prahlad Maharaj is actually a devotee of the Lord, while I am nothing. Who is telling? Yudhishthira Maharaj. And while thinking this, he was addressed by Narada Muni. Narada Muni says, my dear King Yudhishthira, in this world, you, the Pandava brothers, they are the only fortunate people. Narada Muni is telling them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, has appeared on this planet and is presenting himself to you as an ordinary human being. He is always with you in all circumstances. He is living with you and covering himself from the eyes of others. Others cannot understand that he is the Supreme Lord. But he is still living with you as your cousin, as your friend, and even as your messenger. So therefore, you must know that nobody in this world is more fortunate than you. That's what he is telling to Yudhishthira Maharaj. See, in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna appeared in his universal form, Arjuna prayed, my dear Krishna, I thought of you as my cousin brother. And so I have shown disrespect to you in so many ways, calling you Krishna or friend. But you are so great that I could not understand. So that was the position of the Pandavas, right? Although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greatest among all the greats, still he remained with those royal brothers, right? Being attracted by their devotion, by their friendship, and by their love. So Krishna gets attracted by the devotion, by friendship, and love. So that is the proof of how great is this process of devotional service, right? Especially favorable devotional service. It can attract even the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. So Krishna is so great. God is great. But devotional service is greater than God because it attracts him. Now, people who are not in devotional service can never understand what great value there is in rendering service to the Lord. See, pure devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, they do not aspire for any material benefit at any stage of their devotional service. So, when the Lord was present before Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva did not want to take any material benefit from Krishna, right? So, as a pure devotee, he could not ask the Lord for any material benefit. So, in this regard, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed, न धनम न जनम न सुंदरीम कविताम वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तेरहैतु की त्वयि. We recite daily in the Shikshashtakam, right? O Lord of the universe, I do not desire material wealth, materialistic followers, a beautiful wife, or fruitive activities described in flowery language. All I want, life after life, is unmotivated devotional service to you. You can see this even in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila 20.29. So Dhruva Maharaj, son of King Uttanapada, was already known throughout the universe as a great devotee of the Lord, constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. So such a pure, uncontaminated devotee of the Lord is worthy to have all the benedictions that can be offered by the demigods. And Dhruva Maharaj does not have to worship the demigods separately for such benedictions. Now, Kuvera is a treasure of the demigods and is personally offering Dhruva Maharaj whatever benediction he wants, right? Whatever he wants to have. See, Srila Bilvamangala Thakura says, for persons, very nice point, he says, that for persons who engage in this devotional service of the Lord, all material benedictions are waiting like maid servants, ready to offer. Mukti Devi is just waiting at the door of the devotees to offer liberation, or more than that at any time. To be a devotee is therefore an exalted position. It is simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can have all the benedictions of the world without any separate endeavor. It comes automatically. That is a byproduct. So Lord Kuvera said to Dhruva Maharaj that he had heard that Dhruva was always in Samadhi. That means always thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. He knew that for Dhruva Maharaj, there was nothing desirable within these three material worlds. So he knew that Dhruva would ask for nothing but to remember the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. See, the materialistic way of life differs from the spiritual way of life. One is disobedience of the Supreme Lord, and the other is obedience to the will of the Supreme Lord. Now, the human form of life is a chance to be trained to be agreeable to the orders of the Supreme Lord. So, to bring about this training in society is a mission of Krishna conscious movement. So, as it is given in Bhagavad Gita, the laws of material nature are very strict. Okay. See, no one can overcome very stringent laws of the material nature. But one who becomes a surrendered soul, okay, and agrees to the order of the Supreme Lord, he can easily overcome those stringent laws. So, example of Dhruva Maharaj is very fitting. Simply by becoming agreeable to the orders of Krishna and by developing love of Godhead, Dhruva got the chance to personally meet the confidential servants of Lord Vishnu face to face. Vishnu Dutas, right? So what is possible for Dhruva Maharaj is possible for everyone. Anyone who is seriously engaged in devotional service can obtain in due course of time the same perfection of the human form of life. There's a beautiful verse in, because we just saw in the, see, as a pure devotee does not know anything beyond the Lord, so the Lord does not know anything beyond his devotees. Each of them are thinking of each other. So the verse in Bhagavatam 9:468, Sadhavordayam madnahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyatte na jananti naham tebhyo managapi. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart. And I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. See, Prabhupada purport says, since Durvasa Muni wanted to chastise Maharaj Amrisha, right? It is to be understood that he wanted to give the pain to the heart of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Lord says, Sadhavo Hridayam Mahyam. So the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart. See, the Lord's feelings are like those of a father who feels the pain when his child is in pain. So offenses at the lotus feet of a devotee are very serious. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very strongly recommended that one should not commit any offense at the lotus feet of a devotee. Because what happens, such offenses are, they are compared to a mad elephant. Because when a mad elephant enters a garden, no, it causes devastation. So one should be extremely very, very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of a pure devotee. Actually, Maharaj Amrisha was not at all at fault. Now, Durvasa Muni unnecessarily wanted to chastise him on flimsy grounds. Maharaj Amrisha wanted to complete the Ekadashi Parana, right, as part of devotional service, to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, he drank a little water. But although Durvasa Muni was a great mystic Brahmana, he did not know what is what. That is the difference between a pure devotee and a so-called learned scholar of Vedic knowledge. So devotees, being always situated in the core of the Lord's heart, they surely get all the instructions directly from the Lord. As it is given in the seed verse of Bhagavad Gita 10.11. Tesham evanukam partam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. Out of compassion for them, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy the shining lamp of, with the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. So devotee does not do anything which is not sanctioned by the Lord. See, even the most learned or experienced person can understand the movements of a pure devotee. So no one should therefore criticize a pure Vaishnava. A Vaishnava knows his own business. Whatever he does, no, is perfectly right because he's always guided by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, Prabhupada in the purport, the discussion today's discussion, the purport, Prabhupada says, as a pure devotee does not know anything beyond the Lord, so that Lord does not know anything beyond his pure devotees. Right? And Swayambhu Manu pointed out this fact to Dhruva Maharaj. He says, not only are you a pure devotee, but you are recognized by all pure devotees of the Lord. See, Bhagavad Gita was written by whom? Vyasadeva, right? So Vyasadeva is writing. But who is speaking? In Bhagavad Gita, we saw it. Sanjaya is speaking first. Dhritarashtra was speaking. Then Sanjaya. But the original writer is Vyasadeva. In the shlokas, he writes, no, Arjuna Vacha, Sanjaya Vacha. Similarly, he could write here, Krishna Vacha. He could, but he's writing Bhagavan Vacha. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So by this writing, it is established. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. He cannot be equal with Arjuna or Sanjaya or anybody else. Asamordhava Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is supreme. So nobody is equal to him and nobody is higher than him. Everyone is lower. So that is the meaning of Bhagavan. See, nobody can claim I am Bhagavan. But nowadays there are so many people claiming that I am Bhagavan, everyone is Bhagavan. Crazy. See, so there cannot be any mistake in the words of Vyasadeva. If one does not come through the channel of disciplic succession, then there may be so many mistakes. Vyasdeva is above all this. He's not an ordinary writer for any material description or material name and fame. And Vyasdeva cannot be mistaken, right? So as Bhagavan Krishna cannot be mistaken, similarly Vyasdeva, incarnation of Bhagavan, he also cannot be mistaken. Neither devotee of Krishna can be mistaken. Why? Devotee of Krishna, he does not say anything as his own opinion. He never says. What Krishna says, he says. That's all. He may not be perfect, but what Krishna has said, that is perfect, right? Therefore, a pure devotee who does not say anything beyond which was spoken by Krishna, his statement is also without any mistake. See, common man within this material world, he commits mistakes. To err is human. Even big personalities, they commit mistakes. But Krishna is transcendental. There cannot be any mistake. No illusion. So those who are in this material world, no, they have got 4 defects. Right? They commit mistakes, they cheat, illusion, imperfect senses. So Vyasdeva is writing Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So there is no cheating in this case. No imperfection, no illusion, no mistake. So 4 things. No mistake, no illusion, no cheating, and no perfection. This is Bhagavan. So why we are taking Bhagavad Gita very seriously? Bhagavad Gita as it is? Because there are so many other books we can read, right? So many theories. So many philosophers, right? But we cannot take them because they are defective. See, the author is sure to commit mistakes. He is illusion. Because the senses are not perfect. Therefore, imperfection. So, with all these defects, we cannot accept anyone's knowledge. So, this is the Vedic process. This is called parampara system. Discipline, succession. See, we receive knowledge perfectly from Supreme Bhagavan Krishna. And if I receive this knowledge from Bhagavan, and if I distribute the same knowledge as Krishna has said, without any interpretation of my cheating policy, then the knowledge which I distribute, that is also perfect. See, I may not be perfect, but the knowledge which I have taken from Krishna, if I present it as it is, without any interpretations, then what I give you, that is perfect. Very easy to understand, right? Just like a postman, suppose he bought a money order for you, right? Say like 10,000 rupees. So he is giving you. You cannot say, oh, here is a postman. He's a poor man. How can he give me 1,000 rupees? Can you say that? He is not giving. The money is sent by somebody else. He's simply handing over to you. So the instruction is given by Krishna, and you are giving the same instruction to the listeners. So that is a parampara system, disciplic succession coming in the authority. See, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is very nicely described in the 11th canto. So this verse describes the importance of Krishna Kirtana, like chanting, all these devotional activities, right? So if we perform the Sankirtana Yajna, this Kirtana, what happens then? Why the living is attracted to Kirtana, to this? 11:2:42. It says, Bhakti Pareshan Bhavo Vraktir Anyatra Chaisha Trika Eka Kalaha Prapadyamanasya Nitashnatasya Tushti Pushti Apayanugasam. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These 3 occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way, that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. So this verse clearly describes why we perform this devotional service. See, the example is given of what happens when we are hungry and the plate of prasadam is in front of us. 1. When we are hungry, the plate of prasadam comes before us, then we are very happy to see the plate, no? Because we know now that I will start eating and my hunger will be satisfied. So this is the first effect of seeing the dish, right? Prasadam. Tushtihi. We are completely satisfied to see. Not only sorted, see. This is the first effect of seeing prasadam in front of us because we are hungry. The hunger is the main thing. And because we are very hungry, the sight of the prasadam pleases us. We are completely satisfied to see the prasadam. This is the first effect. Like, for example, nice rasgullas, pakoras, samosas. By hearing this name, now we want to have that, right? See, even now, I feel like running away and taking it. So what is the use of talking? So this is how we are completely attracted to prasadam because hunger is there. So that is the first effect of prasadam. The second effect is when we start taking the food and putting the morsels in our mouth, right? That is second effect is more important than the first one. First, by the sight, we're only satisfied. But as soon as you take the morsel of prasadam into your mouth, goes into your stomach, through the food pipe, then your body is nourished. So the nourishment, the animation of the body is the effect of prasadam. Otherwise, I can't move my hand, I can't see you, I can't hear you, you can't hear me, you can't look at me. All this animation effect is because I am putting morsels of food of the prasadam in my stomach. So this animation is very important. Otherwise, the body is useless if it's not animated. So the second effect of prasadam is more important than the first one. So without prasadam, we cannot animate our body. So in order to animate our body, we must have some type of food and prasadam. Some type of food is required, right? So prasadam is the best thing. So this is how prasadam has the best effect on us. And because of prasadam, we function. Otherwise, we can't function at all. We may function for a month or two without prasadam, but not for a long time. We have to have something. So this is the second effect of prasadam. The third effect is that, see, you continue to take the morsels of prasadam and your hunger is satisfied. Then a point comes, when the whole prasadam is in front of you, right? But you cannot touch it because you're completely full. That is a third effect, that our hunger is fully satisfied. So these three effects are at the same time. Trika eka kalaha. Trika eka kalaha. The effects of seeing the prasadam, taking the morsels and getting animated, and the effect of hunger being completely satisfied happens at the same time. It's not separate. It's not that today you are satisfied, after a year you get animated, and the next year your hunger is satisfied. No, it's all at the same time. In the same manner, three things happen simultaneously when we engage ourselves in Krishna Katha or Krishna Kirtana. Three simultaneous effects of seeing the plate of prasadam in front of us when we are hungry. When we engage ourselves in Krishna Kirtana, three things happen simultaneously. The first thing that develops when we chant Krishna's names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, is that we develop bhakti or the devotional attitude. See, all of us have Krishna in our hearts. Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishtu. I am situated in everyone's heart. If Krishna is not there, our soul cannot get energy. So soul and super soul have got to be together in our heart. Then because he is there, the devotional attitude is already there. But because of this sangha or association, it develops. See, all alone we may get tired, or we may hesitate, or we may become lazy. But in association, Sankirtan is the best way to develop the devotional attitude. And that is the first effect of singing these bhajans. The second effect is more important than the first effect. As we have seen in the second effect of the taking prasadam, right? The second effect is Pareshanu Bhavo. Paresha means supreme absolute Krishna. And Anubhava means experience. You experience Krishna in the Sankirtan movement. And that's why this movement is a benediction. It soothes our lives, right? We are completely tapta jivanam. Tava kathamritam. Chanting his names is a nectarian thing we are following. And the more you chant in the congregation, the more you get the experience of Krishna. That is why we are attracted to the temples, we see the deities, we chant the holy names, we chant Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. We hear all this, right? And we chant his names continuously. See, in Japa, we chant the rounds. Why? Because we want to experience Krishna. There is no other way we can see Krishna. Our senses are imperfect. We cannot see beyond this wall. If at all we see a completely wrong thing. So these senses are completely inefficient to see Krishna. Even Krishna stands, if Krishna stands in front of us, we will not be able to recognize. We cannot see him face to face with these instruments. The only way we can visualize the Lord is through his names. Otherwise, there is no other way. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always insists that in Kali Yuga, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. Nastyeva, 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 gatiranyata. So the third effect of chanting the names is that we become completely detached from all the other nonsensical things. Viraktir anyatra. So Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra are all guiding us. The same thing. So it becomes our pious duty, to follow the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and become attached to chanting the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See, for the pure devotee, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of Krishna. And the Lord knows that such devotees do not wish anything more than that. Krishna also does not wish to be separated from the lotus hearts of the pure devotees. So this is the transcendental relationship between the pure devotees and the personality of God. Now, because the Lord does not wish to separate himself from the hearts of such pure devotees, it is understood that they are specifically dearer than the impersonalists. So the relationship of the pure devotees with the Lord develops because of devotional service to the Lord on the authentic basis of the Vedic authority. Such pure devotees are not mundane sentimentalists, but are factually realists, because their activities are supported by the Vedic authorities who are given oral reception to the facts mentioned in the Vedic literatures. So spontaneous love of God, spontaneous, is the basis of an intimate relationship with the Lord. So this is the highest stage of relationship with Krishna and can be attained simply by hearing about him, his name, form, quality, hearing about him from authentic sources like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, recited by pure, unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Now, Swami Manu is telling in this verse that we will always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. So very important. You should be like, in fact, in the word-to-word meaning, there's the word anushikshan. He says setting the example. Whereas he's telling Dhruva Maharaj, by killing everybody, why are you doing that? Why have you undertaken such an abominable task? He's telling. He said you should always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. And he said it is surprising that you have killed so many faultless yakshas. See, in one way or another, we should always be engaged in Krishna consciousness. This will protect us from the onslaughts of the material nature. So there was a question to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, see, so many items are there which are being used in Krishna's service. So whether the items being used in Krishna's service become spiritual? Prabhupada says, yes. You should understand that anything which will remind one of Krishna, Prabhupada says, anything which will remind one of Krishna is spiritual. And anything which will make one forget Krishna is material. Very important, very nice point, Prabhupada, this, right? Anything which will remind one of Krishna is spiritual. Anything which will make one forget Krishna is material. Actually, everything is of spiritual nature because everything is coming from the ultimate source, Krishna. But when something is offered to the Lord, or when it is used in his service, then it resumes its spiritual quality because it will remind one of Krishna. Therefore, even though such objects may not have any consciousness, right? It will act as spiritual. It is just like when an iron rod is put into fire. After some time, the rod will not be a rod, it will become like fire. And it will act just in the same way as fire. See, the most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. Very nice point, right? Krishna Prabhupada has given life should be so molded in your day-to-day life that one always have the chance to think of Krishna. So one should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure consciousness, pure Krishna consciousness, he will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. You can shake hands with Krishna. The most confidential part of knowledge is spoken by Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. So, Prabhupada says everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. So, it is stressed that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna. The very form, which form? The two hands carrying a flute. The bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. Just you can imagine, visualize that form, right? Shama Sundara form of Krishna. So there are descriptions of Krishna found in Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, and so many other literatures. So one should fix his mind on this original form of Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. Not even, he says, Prabhupada says, not even to Lord Varaha, right? But the devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. So concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So in this chapter, Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. So Manu is advising his grandson, Dhruva Maharaj, about the dangers of getting angry. Right? So he's telling, my dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. So I'm telling Dhruva Maharaj. See, Dhruva Maharaj's brother was killed by Yaksha for no reason. So as a king, it was his responsibility to punish the killer. So his anger was meaningful. But the trouble lies when the anger goes beyond one's control. There is a very old saying that even excessive nectar is poisonous. So what to say of anger? So Krishna very nicely explains in Bhagavad Gita, verse 2.63, right? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti brahmaha, smriti brahmat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Sorry. Excessive anger causes delusion, bewilderment, loss of intelligence, and pushes us to the material pool. So what is the remedy for excessive anger? How can we control it? See, management schools, they might provide remedies like drinking a glass of water or counting from 1 to 10. All these tips are not helpful for the current day's situations. Swayambhu Manu, father of mankind, has mercifully given us the eternal remedy. He says, constant hearing. Shrutena bhuyasa. Prabhupada says, by constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. So Parikshit Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is the panacea for all material diseases. Everyone therefore should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. So by hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium. And thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Anger indeed is a very dangerous weapon. Right? It is like a sword, with sharp edges on both sides. And therefore it causes pain to the person who is attacked by it and also to the person who holds it. But does that mean one should not become angry under any circumstances? Prabhupada gives a wonderful illustration for this. He says, once a snake became a devotee of the Lord after being instructed by Narada Muni. And so the snake gave up his behavior of biting others. But people took undue advantage of this and started hurting him by throwing stones and beating him with sticks. So when Narada came to know this, he instructed the snake, don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you are going to bite. Then they will go away. So Prabhupada says, in a very powerful purport, he says, similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. A devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics. But in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, you should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. See, we do a lot of service, seva, service in the temples, doing programs, arranging programs, so many things, right? So many sevas we're doing. But all this service should be without envy. So we should have an art of forgetting the help we render. Service without envy. It's known as vimatsaraha. See, in order to learn the art of forgetting the help we render, we should be free from envious nature. See, envy normally develops when our pride is dented by someone else doing better than us. Correct? When somebody is doing better than us. Suppose in the program, we are doing very good Kirtan and one person, Prabhuji, or Mata is doing very good Kirtan. Somebody else, new person comes, he does better than you. You become envious. Correct? Helping others is an intoxicating feeling. Helping others is an intoxicating feeling because it makes us feel important. And when someone is dependent on us, correct? So this intoxication increases with the attention we get for our service. And it is fueled by further by I am the doer mindset, which convinces us that there is no better person than me to help you. We develop a feeling of being indispensable in someone's life or in some society or some significant project. See, while externally it looks like the one who seeks help from us is dependent on us, right? In reality, it is we who are serving is dependent on them when we look for some reciprocation for our service. Every time we serve, the adulation we get increases our pride more and more. And we live in a false world of illusion, right? That we are such a noble person, there is no one better than us. This is the time Krishna strikes us with the reality of life. Naturally, no living entity likes to be dependent on a single person all their life. They approach different people for help at different times. And that sometimes they go to someone else for help. And when that shift in dependency happens, it will be very difficult for the helper to digest one who has been helping all along. That's where the envy crops on the other person who helps, and anger crops up on the person who shifts the dependency. So we really don't understand that it is Krishna who has been utilizing us in helping a certain jiva. And now that our role is over, maybe due to our contaminated consciousness or lack of expertise or whatever reason. So Krishna is utilizing another person to help the same jiva. So we are actually nothing but just instruments in the hands of Krishna. So he is using us in whatever way he wants and whenever he wants. So if we are surrendered to this reality, Krishna will utilize us in many other ways. And if not surrendered, he will simply neglect us and put us aside. That's when we are engulfed by the variety of anarthas like envy, anger. The best example of this case is given in Bhagavatam with regard to the Govardhan Leela pastime. So Indra supplies rain to all the residents of earth for the offerings they give him. Now falsely he was thinking that the Vrajavasis or the earthly planet residents, they're dependent on him for the rains. So they are offering so many gifts in their sacrifice. As a result, they became extremely proud and forgot that he is only an instrument in the hands of Supreme Lord Krishna. So Krishna decided to smash his pride. So he advised the Vrajavasis to stop the sacrifice for Indra, but instead asked them to perform the same sacrifice to Govardhan Hill, saying that it is the one that is the one who actually supplies all the necessities, not Indra. Even if Krishna had asked Vrajavasis to offer sacrificed to some other demigods, no, like Surya, Chandra, or Agni, Indra would not have felt so much insulted. His pride was completely smashed on observing that the Vrajavasis are receiving all the benefits from him, but offering their sacrifice to Govardhana hill, which he considered as nothing but a mass of stone. So he considered this as a breach of loyalty by the Vrajavasis and became extremely angry at them. In reality, it was he who broke the loyalty to Krishna, who has entrusted him the service of water management and to execute it without a sense of proprietorship and pride. So on realizing that it was Krishna who changed the minds of Vrajavasis to offer the gifts to Govardhana instead of him, Indra became envious of Krishna himself. So Krishna destroyed all of Indra's pride, anger, envy simply by ignoring all the rakas he created, no? By lifting the Govardhana hill with his little finger, indicating to Indra, all your anger and envy can't even match my pinky finger. So the lesson is that when we are envious, Krishna ensures that people don't approach us for help. Only when we get rid of this envious mentality can we be truly accessible in need. So in this context, it's nice to meditate on the beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada on 3.9.29. Any person authorized, correct? Any person authorized by either the Lord or by his bona fide spiritual representative is already blessed, as it is a work entrusted to him. See, of course, the person entrusted with such a responsibility should always be aware of his incapability and must always look for the mercy of the Lord for the successful execution of his devotee. One should not be puffed up because he is entrusted with certain executive work, right? So fortunate is he who is entrusted, who is so entrusted with the work, seva, right? And he is always fixed in the sense of being subordinate to the will of the Lord. He is sure to come out successful in the discharge of his work. So one of the gravest sins human beings commit is to forget the help received from someone. But graver than that sin is to constantly meditate on the help we rendered to some with I am the doer mentality. It destroys our peace of mind and mental balance. So let us pray to the Supreme Lord, Prabhupada, and Guru to bestow upon us the consciousness of being his instrument in all time, place, service, and circumstances. So very, very important for us to understand. That's why in the purport, Prabhupada says, no, Swami Manu is telling, because you are pure devotee to the Lord is always thinking of you, and you are also regularly recognized by all his confident devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. I am therefore surprised, why have you undertaken such an abominable task? So this is very important, right? You should be leading by example. We should set the example. And Dhruva Maharaj is the king. You should set a, but just instead of killing that one Yaksha, he started killing everybody. That is uncontrollable anger. Anger became beyond. That is not advisable. That's what Swami Manu is advising Dhruva Maharaj. So he said, you should always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. So he says, it is surprising that you kill so many faultless Yakshas. So please control and follow. And we are in such a wonderful family that we should be followed by everyone. That's why exemplary behavior should be there. Setting an example to everyone. That's why pure devotees, they always set an example. We have to just follow as it is in the disciplic succession and through the authority. Virantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much, Prabhupada ji, Hare Krishna, for giving the opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify ourselves. And so such a wonderful lesson from today's verse. So if you have any questions or anything, any takeaways, anything to share, please go ahead. Let's stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyacha kripa sandubhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo prabhupada Vaishnava. Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, will you kindly repeat that prasadam, what happens, how it gives? That was very nice. Will you please repeat, Prabhuji, that and the three things of about chanting, Prabhuji? They are very, very nice. Today only I came to know about all this. Thank you, Prabhuji.
This is when you eat, no? So for example, you are hungry. There is a plate of prasadam just in front of you. Automatically you feel already nice. But just by seeing it is not, your hunger will not be satisfied. So the second effect is when you start eating, it goes through the food pipe into the stomach. Right? The whole body gets nourished. And the third thing is, so for first is you see at least you satisfy, you're getting the prasadam. When you eat, your hunger is getting satisfied. The third effect is when you have more, and now you see, now I don't want, you're full, I can't eat more. You're already fully satisfied. So all these three things, come as the one at same time. It's not that one time you see you're satisfied. Now after a long time you eat, you're satisfied. No. All the three things happen at the same time. The same way when you do chanting, all those activities, everything happens at the same time, not one. Right? That's the point to understand. All similar to the prasadam.
Prabhuji, you had talked about one point where Kubera said about something about the maid servant. It is like a maid servant at waiting
Yes.
at the doors. Can you
Yes.
repeat that point again, Prabhuji?
Yeah, see, we want to go back to Godhead. We have to, but the moment you chant, recite shlokas, Mukti, that is liberation, no? Mukti Devi. She is waiting, already waiting to take you back. That is why she's like a maid servant. Servant means they will serve you all the time. So you don't have to do anything separate endeavor for getting a liberation or mukti and all.
Just by chanting and
Yeah,
scriptures
absolutely.
is more than enough.
More than enough. Because the Mukti Devi is ready, really waiting for you. But actually, the pure devotees, they don't want mukti also. They only want to serve the Lord continuously. And see, we are feeling so blissful, right? Chanting, reciting shlokas. What else we want? We don't want anything. We have get prasadam also. That also we want. So everything is happening very nicely. So why we want to have mukti also? That also pure devotees, they don't want. They always, that's why Krishna, pure devotees are in the heart of Krishna, and Krishna is in the heart of all the pure devotees. So they are reciprocating each other. Such a wonderful point, right?
Such a beautiful point, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Balaji Guru.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. In the Mahabharata Yuddha, Mahabharata, when war was there, because of one person, Duryodhana, the entire, the people have got killed and all that, correct?
Yeah, yes.
But here, in the Dhruv Maharaja's case, because of one yaksha, the entire yaksha he wants to kill. And there, God said not to, don't stop, you have to fight. But here, don't fight, no? So, my understanding is how this is like contradictory, one place, not to, has to get up and fight. Here, don't fight. How it is?
See, there the Kauravas, they wanted to fight. They wanted to not give anything to the Kauravas, I mean Pandavas, right?
Yeah.
So Krishna wanted that to happen for the religion, because it's a completely irreligion. So Paritrana Sadhunam Yada Dharma, he came for that purpose only. So he wanted him to fight, to be an instrument. If Arjuna doesn't fight, also doesn't matter, he would have already finished them off. Right? But he already finished by his looking. So that's one. But here, see, there is Yaksha's as it is, only one Yaksha, he killed the brother of Dhruva Maharaj. So it's just maybe one time, maybe case. Not that everybody came and just like Ashwatthama, whole Kauravas came around and killed him. It's not like that. Only one single person. So only he has to be punished, right? And he's the king. Dhruva Maharaj is the king. So he has to be punished by him only for that person. But he became so angry that he wanted to finish them off completely. So that is unnecessary anger, beyond the normal anger. So that is not required. That's what Swayambhu Manu is coming and telling him. So please control your anger. Of course, it has to be punished, whatever has been done, and that you already done. But it is not good to kill the innocent people. So that is the point to understand.
So there, although Duryodhana was the only one, but the entire dynasty was against the Pandavas.
Yeah, they were all following Duryodhana, right? Even Bhishma Deva, they were also following him only. That's the point to understand.
So everyone was killed there in the war field, and here, because only one is there, why you have to kill everyone?
Yeah. So this is the example to show us, don't be unduly angry. More anger is not good. Envy, anger and all, beyond the particular point. That's what the example of Prabhupada given of the snake. Snake was told not to fight, not to bite. But it got people started taking undue advantage, hitting it. So he said, don't bite, but you can just show your wood, right? So they will go away. They will not be doing mischief. So by killing that one yaksha, the others will be wary of that. Dhruva Maharaj is a powerful king. So we should respect him rather than going and fighting with him. So they didn't fight actually, but Dhruva Maharaj was so angry, he wanted to finish them. So I hope it is somewhat useful.
Yes, clear. That's what one particular yakshas
Yes.
what do you call?
Not wrong, yeah.
the
See,
eagle.
that's what we can see in the material world nowadays. In one country, one president or somebody is not, he's
Ego.
like a useless fellow. So for that, the whole country is being smashed and all. Innocent people are being smashed and all. That is not required. Maybe elderly people, women, children. Why innocent people are being killed? See, in the war means it should be in the border. What would it? They should be fighting there. They should not come beyond. But now everybody, they don't think about India. That's what is happening. So thank you, Prabhu Matajis. Hare Krishna. If you have any takeaways, you can tell. Otherwise, we'll stop here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That was a mind-blowing session.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And one more thing, Prabhuji, to check anger, we should do constant hearing of Krishna Katha.
Absolutely. Very nice point. Good takeaway, Mataji. By hearing, no, anger, it will be automatically go away. Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji,
Thank you,
what
Prabhuji.
I understood is you, in case a situation demands you to get angry, you just pretend to get angry. Don't allow it to disturb you.
Yes. Don't go.
Just
Let
show
it
that
be.
your anger and handle the situation and just smile away, turn your back and smile away.
True. Very nice. But it is easy to say, but not.
Very easy to say, yes, yes.
But good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
More than that, Prabhuji, I think it is not holding the anger onto your mind or the grudge onto your mind for a longer period of time. It is okay to get angry and then finish it off at that moment and keep going, rather
Correct.
than holding on to it and carrying it as a burden on your mind and head.
Correct. That's true. See, if I say a joke, immediately you will all laugh. If I say the same joke second time, little bit. If I go on saying the same joke for about 10 times, you will not laugh only. What happened to this Prabhuji? So the same grudge or anything you're having with the person, continuously for a lifetime after lifetime, what will happen? You should just leave it off. Right? That's
That rotten potato story, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. True. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Also, the water on the lotus feet, no, a lotus, the leaf,
Yes.
on the leaf. Ivambasa. Like.
Correct. Ivambasa, yes. It will not affect you. You are in the muddy water, but it doesn't affect it. It is still beautiful. Very nice.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Another point that you told was very nice. You help others and then keep on hankering about it. Yeah, I helped. And then suddenly that person feels that you have become indispensable and then you get puffed up.
Correct. True.
That was also very nice, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, it's beyond the time. So thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna. Take care. Be great.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.